Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Garrett and I am a crypto day trader whose overall goal here with my channel is to simply help other traders in the most simplistic ways as possible. So in today's educational video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a super simple trick that you can use with one of my personal favorite moving averages while trading the smaller time frames. Now, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same crypto exchange that I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the video description down below this video. I personally love this exchange because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you're one of those people and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. All right, guys, so first and foremost, hold on, let me go over here and get to my chart here. But first of all, I just want to point out here that this is not some kind of magical trick that's going to guarantee that you win every single trade, because that's not realistic and nobody ever wins every single trade they take, all right? However, if you're trading the smaller time frames and you love trading the smaller time frames, this trick is so simple and self-explanatory that you will start to wonder why you have not came across it before. Realistically, though, depending on what kind of leverage you're using, this trick should help you to be able to make at least 10% on every single scalp trade that you take if you are getting in at the right times anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how I do things and how I would go about trading these, all right? Now, obviously, I can't do it in real time because nobody's going to sit here for a 45-minute video while we wait for candles to produce here. And that's just not realistic, all right? So the only thing I can go ahead and show you here is based on previous data, all right? And we've got let's see here, we've got multiple good setups here that you could have made some profit on, all right? So here is how I would have looked at this, all right? The first thing you want to do here is, obviously, I've got my moving average right here, okay? This is the moving average that you guys want, all right? It is the 7-period simple moving average. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to indicators, and you're just going to type in moving average simple. And you're going to come up right here. It's going to come up right up here, and you're going to click it, and it's going to add it to your chart. But it is not going to be set to 7 right away, okay? Well, it's going to be set, I think it's going to be set to 9 right off the bat. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the gear icon, which is the settings, and you're going to go to inputs, and you're going to change the length from 9 down to 7, all right? And then you'll click OK, and then it will be on your chart, all right? So this is overall how I go ahead and do things, okay? So first of all, the first thing that I want to go ahead and mention here, the way that I like to trade moving averages. So for instance, with the 7-period SMA here, which is a very, very fast moving average, basically what this does is, obviously, as you can clearly see, when price is bullish, all of the price action is on top of the moving average. And when price is bearish, obviously right in here, for example, price is below the moving average, okay? So what does that mean? Obviously, when price starts to cross over the moving average to either side, that means it's a decent time to go ahead and probably get into the trade and potentially make some profit there. But it does not work like that every single time, as you guys can clearly see. For instance, right here, we've got moves going kind of sideways. We've got moves kind of going sideways, and the market doesn't know what it wants to do. So realistically, we had, a move crossing up to the upside here. Yeah, you would have made some profit, but not too much. And the same thing right here. It went to the downside, but then it went back up again. And yeah. So obviously, when it's moving sideways like this, it is not a good time to trade, all right? When we have movements like this, though, this is kind of overall what I'm talking about here, okay? So when we have movements like this, all right, what I'm talking about is at the end of a very long downtrend, as you guys can clearly see right here. Usually what ends up happening is when price action ends up getting very, very far away and deviates very far away from the moving average itself, it usually ends up breaking down to the downside or to the upside, or basically in the opposite direction of whichever way it's going, to be able to cool off for a little bit. As you guys can clearly see right here, that's what happened right in here, okay? So this green candle right here, this big green candle right here, it deviated super far away from the moving average right in here, okay? And you can see that clear as day. I mean, that's a pretty damn far distance right there, all right? That right there tells me that, okay, well, Bulls will probably end up getting exhausted here soon because obviously nothing can go straight up forever here, and it's going to end up going to the downside at some point in time. And look at that, that's exactly what happened on this next candle here. The next candle opened and it went down to the downside. Now my confirmation on that before I would have gotten in on a short would have been waiting for it to cross over to the 7 period moving average right here and riding it downwards. All right. Now, obviously, this wasn't a very big downward slope, as you guys can clearly tell. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here as well. Okay. So realistically, what I would have done here, is I would have waited until this candle closed just to make sure that it did end up closing on the other side of the moving average here and gotten in at the top of the next one. All right. And the top of the next one did end up coming down. It actually ended up going down about 0.72% right there, which if you're using like 10x leverage, that would have been roughly around a 7% profit or so. Overall here, though, it only ended up going down in this small movement right here about 0.86%, which with 10x leverage is about 8.6% or so. All right. So yes, you could have made some profit on that trade, but not very much. But realistically, when you're scalping the crypto market, especially scalping with the 5-minute chart, you can't expect to be making big profits all the time, okay? Unless you're using a crazy amount of leverage or something like that. For instance, if you're using 100x leverage here, instead of making roughly around 8% here, you probably would have made right around like 80% or something like that, which is damn good profit. But realistically, I don't even know anybody who uses 100x leverage on a regular basis when they're scalping the crypto market like this. You want to keep your risk overall low, and that's why I suggest using like 10x leverage or something like that, because it's a good manageable amount to be able to manage that risk overall. But you can use whatever you want. It's all up to you. But realistically here, this is what I would have done. I would have entered right in here, and then what I would have done is I would have set my stop loss at the very top of this previous candle right here, because obviously if price ends up going back up above the moving average and above the previous candle, it's probably things are probably looking pretty bullish, and it's probably going to continue to go even higher. All right. So you would have been set right there, and you would have had your good stop loss right in there, and you would have ended up obviously profiting right around 8% down there. All right. Now the same thing is true right in here. Okay. So obviously we have our cross over to the upside of the moving average right in here, and I would have waited to make sure that this candle ends up closing above it, which it did, and I would have gotten in at the bottom of this candle right in here. Okay. And I would have set my stop loss towards the bottom of this previous candle here, because obviously if it ends up going down instead and continues going down further than the previous candle, then it probably means that bears are actually taking over and they are going to push it down even further. And I want to get out to minimize my overall risk, okay? Because the goal here with scalping is to make sure that your wins are always much, much larger than your losses here, okay? The goal is not to win every single trade. The goal is to make sure that your wins are always much, much larger than those losses. So realistically, I would have gotten in right here, and I would have rode it up, and I would have, once it got to this section right in here where it comes back down, this is kind of where I would have kind of been watching it and making sure, hey, are we going to end up crossing back to the downside here, or are we going to bounce off and go up back upwards to the upside? So that's why you want to wait for confirmations here. So obviously it ended up bouncing here and didn't go down to the downside, ended up bouncing and going up even higher. Now, at this point in time, we have deviated very, very far away from the moving average. So that right there tells me that I need to get out of here, because this trade is going to end up going back to the downside at some point in time here very, very soon, because that's usually what happens 9 times out of 10 when price ends up deviating super far away from the moving average. So I probably would have gotten out realistically, probably somewhere around halfway up this candle or so. So if you would have gotten in on this trade, you would have made roughly around, let's see here, 2%. So multiply that by 10 for 10x leverage, you would have made roughly a solid 20% profit right there within a matter of 35 minutes of trading. Now, you do this, 3 to 5 times a day, you can easily make a good solid with 10x leverage. You can make a good solid, I don't know, maybe 80 to 100% in profits every single day. But that's if you're able to get in on the right spots. All right. Now you will lose some here and there because obviously, like in situations like right in here, you know, when it's moving sideways and stuff, we don't know if it's going to continue moving sideways. We aren't able to tell that. Okay. But that is why it is very important to make sure that your stop losses are set in very, very good spots, to where you are only losing a very, very, very tiny amount. And that's why me personally, I like to use the previous candle method to set my stop losses, at least for scalping the crypto market anyway, okay? For instance, when I'm trading the 4-hour charts or the daily charts or the weekly charts or something like that, and I'm swing trading, I don't use the previous candle method for setting my stop losses, all right? I only do that when I am scalping on these smaller time frames right here. But overall here, as you guys can clearly see, we've got multiple instances where you could have made some decent profits. So you would have made roughly 20% right in here. And then a little bit later, you know, it ends up going to the downside right in here. You would have made roughly another 8% right there. So that's good, solid 28% that you made already. And then later on in the day, right in here, you could have made a little bit more. So let's see here if you would have gotten in on this one and then rode it all the way to the top again here, obviously because it deviated far away from the moving average again, you know, you would have roughly made another 18% right there. So let's see here, 28 plus 18. I'm bad at this kind of math, 28, 38, 48. You would have made roughly around 46% here within the last like 3 or 4 hours. So it's solid 48% profits right there within just a matter of 4 hours, guys. So overall here, again, this isn't some kind of trading trick that's going to guarantee that you're going to win every single trade, but it is a good, solid trick that you can use that does actually work. I use this strategy on a regular basis when I am scalping the crypto market, and it works on all kinds of coins, all right? The main coins that I trade on a regular basis are the top, pretty much coins that are within the top 20, 25 by market cap. As you guys can clearly see by looking at my watch list here, I've got, you know, Solana, Radium, well, Radium and Jupiter aren't part of that, but Solana, Sui, Doge, XRP, Cardano, Chainlink, Avalanche, HBAR, Stellar, DOT, LTC, Near, Aptos, Ondo, pretty much all the top tier coins. And the reason why that is because I like to scalp coins that have very, very high daily volume. And these coins, all of these top tier coins, they all have a very large amount of daily volume to be able to trade, which makes them great for trading the 5-minute charts. All right. So overall here, guys, if you are a fan of fast-paced trading and you don't mind trading the smaller time frames, you can make some damn good consistent profits from trading like this alone. As long as you are doing things properly and you are able to get in at, you know, decent times here. Now, before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if any of you guys are looking for a safe space to ask questions or talk about trading or just hang out, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me on my X account here, which you can find at Garrett_N_stuff. And I will go ahead and send you an invite to my free community Discord server. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and you got some decent value out of it, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and leave me a comment below on your personal thoughts of what you thought of this video. And with that said, for those of you guys who stuck around and watched this entire video throughout the whole thing, I appreciate all of you very, very much, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all in my future videos.